I'm Sridhar. As we informed you, we are going to conduct free online training sessions on various technologies. We try to provide you practical solutions also, so that if you follow these training sessions and if you practice regularly, your skills can be getting improved. So with that, you will be getting better jobs, better opportunities, I say. Okay. So in these three training sessions, we would like to conduct training on user interface, training on databases, and on programming languages. Okay. So every day, around 1 hour to 1 hour 20 minutes, each session will be conducted. So every day 1 hour to 1 hour 20 minutes, we conduct these sessions. And related to these sessions, we actually provide information on the blogs. We provide programming exercises, and we want to start one more blog related to this with the drills. So drills are nothing but practices. To practice, we post many problems, to that we need to provide solutions. So with that, you can enhance your skills. It's going to be absolutely free. You need not pay anything. Just try to utilize these. Okay. So as I told you, we conduct training UI, user interface. User interface means these days everyone thinks about web only. Yes, as you think, and mostly we discuss about the web user interfaces, and apart from that, how to design beautiful interfaces with desktop also we are going to discuss. Okay. Similarly, we talk about databases. So as far as databases are concerned, they can be RDBMS or they can be NoSQL databases. We initially start with the RDBMS. So we teach you, we train you in SQL Server, in MySQL, in Oracle. So in these three things we try to train you. Similarly, as far as NoSQL is concerned, we train you on MongoDB, on the Cassandra. Okay, so like this we are planning at this moment. And as far as programming languages are concerned, we cover Java, we cover C Sharp, we cover Python. We are going to focus on these three languages. Fine. So now let us start actually our UI training. User interface provides human-computer interaction. With the help of user interfaces, computers are operated. A user has to operate computer, for which the user requires some sort of interface. To interact with computer, we require some interface. Something like, for example, take TV. So in the case of TV, inside the TV box you find all circuitry, and in circuit related to sound, related to video, you find inside that related to power. These three are major components. So turning on power, turning off power, similarly selecting a channel, and then similarly changing sound, the volume, I can say, increasing volume or decreasing volume. So all these we do with the help of user the interface. So interface may be knobs which you find on the front panel of TV, or it may be remote interface. So using them you operate. Similarly, the users have to interact with computer. Okay, for that they need to have user interfaces. Okay, so without user interface, user definitely cannot interact much with the system. So system means here computer. So to interact with computer, definitely user interfaces are needed. Okay, so whenever user interfaces are designed, clarity is going to be very important in that. So Users have to use it effectively. For that purpose, clarity is very very important. Okay, so whenever you design any user interface, we need to care about, how to use it. So what are the elements in the user interface? So user should be understanding without much difficulty. Okay, and you need to even predict when they are trying to use it. So whether they are successfully interacting with it or not, we need to be predicting all these things. Okay, so therefore the clarity is going to be very very important. Clarity should be very very important in this. So whenever you design user interface, you should be clear who is going to use, why the person is going to use it. So when the user uses, what result the user is getting, you need to talk, you need to bother about all those things as far as user interface design is concerned. Okay, so there are lots of applications based on desktop and web. You can find many user interfaces these days, both available with web and with the desktop. So both types of applications need a UI to interact with computers. So without UI, users cannot interact with the computers. So in order to interact with computers, we require a user interface. Okay, see both desktop as well as web have their advantages as well as disadvantages. It's not that only web is having advantages and desktop is not having any advantage. We cannot think like that. So both of them have advantages as well as disadvantages. Okay, so few people say that web applications are superior than desktop applications, and few others say desktop applications are superior than say web applications. Okay, so but when you talk about desktop applications, they are going to be more and more secure. They are going to be more and more secure and reliable when compared with the say web applications. Desktop applications, most of the desktop applications, they do not require any internet. They don't require any internet connection. So without internet connection, locally you can work. Okay. So whenever you are doing locally and in your system you are doing something without getting connected to external world. So in such cases you are not depending on any data from external sources. So in such cases desktop applications are fine. But for example, you want to know the weather information. Okay, it may be a application, a desktop application. You might have installed it on the computer, but to find out weather information, definitely you need to get connected with internet. So in such case only you can get latest information on the weather. Otherwise, it cannot be, because to get weather information, weather changes from time to time. To get latest weather information, definitely you need to be getting connected to internet. Okay, so all the desktop applications, it does not mean that they are not going to depend on the web or internet. Okay, so on internet, all the applications may not be depending, but few applications definitely they depend on the internet. So desktop applications, most of they do not require any internet connection. You are going to work locally, so therefore they are going to be more and more secure. Okay, but whenever you talk about actually web applications, definitely you require internet connection, otherwise you cannot get connected to web. Of course, for this there is an exception. You may be working in a LAN, local area network. You may have some intranet applications. Within a corporate, within the same building, when you are working, probably at that time you don't need any internet connection. So without having internet connection with LAN, local area network, probably you can see few web applications, you can interact with web applications. But they are going to be again working in a local, that can be LAN, local area network. So within the local area network you are working, you are not getting connected to external world. Okay, but most of the web applications, they definitely need internet connection. Otherwise, you cannot get connected to public websites. To get connected to public websites or to email providers. Okay, so or for uploading files and downloading files with FTP, definitely you require internet connection. Otherwise, you cannot do anything. Okay, so desktop applications, for them, first of all you need to install the concerned desktop application in your local system, in your local computer, then you can interact with the system using that application. Okay, but in the case of web applications, you don't require anything like that. Web applications you need not install physically in your system. So everything is going to be working through the browser. So you don't require separate installation of the application in your system. Since you are accessing through the web, so all the processing is done in the server side. Simply you are going to access them with the help of the HTML. So therefore, you don't have overhead of installation, maintenance as far as web applications are concerned. But you may be having certain security problems. If you are sensitive to data, again it can be a problem in the case of web applications. But whether it is web application or Windows application, definitely you require some kind of user interface. So without user interface, you cannot interact with the computer. So therefore, you require beautiful user interfaces which have usability factor. So end user, ultimately should be using it with a lot of comfort. Okay, so with clarity, you must build the user interfaces, and you should not make user interfaces getting cluttered. That means too many features. If you try to keep on the same interface, definitely that's going to be confusing factor for the user. So as much as possible, we must make actually the user interface very simple. Okay, we must make it actually very simple. See, when you talk about web application, it is more flexible when compared with desktop applications. Desktop applications are really not that much flexible when compared with the web. Okay, so our focus is going to be more and more on the web applications. How to design user interfaces, with clarity and with usability factors. So we are going to focus more and more on these things, on designing user interfaces and interacting with the web. So mostly we discuss about the user interfaces for web. See, once we finish this, probably we will look into designing desktop based actually user interfaces. That we will do with the help of Windows.net, or it can be with the say Proltech C++. Similarly, using Java. So in the Java you can use say AWT or Swing. With the help of that also we can build user interfaces. Okay, so as far as web technologies are concerned, first of all, this is going to be the syllabus we cover: introduction to user interfaces, then HTML elements and attributes, okay, forms, applying styles to HTML and CSS. So what exactly this HTML is, what is HTTP protocol, what are browsers, what are the different types of browsers, we discuss in those sessions. Whatever syllabus I am showing here, it's really very much summarized. Okay, we try to cover as much as possible. So from the beginning of this web, evolution, so since 1994, many things have taken place with the web. So since its inception, we start actually. So after that, how actually it transformed itself into Web 2.0, into Web 3.0, we are going to discuss. Okay, so HTML elements, their attributes, forms, applying styles to HTML and CSS. So this we cover. Similarly, the layout of HTML pages and navigation, how to move from one page to another page. Similarly, what are HTML entities?